I had $1 for every time a Ukrainian said their language was banned by the Soviets, I would be in the Pandora Papers with Zelensky by now. Welcome to Debunking Ukrainian Nationalism. This is a series that will study and debunk the myths behind Ukrainian nationalist propaganda that is all around us to this day. For me, one of the most egregious myths that Ukrainian nationalists propagate is that their language and identity was oppressed by the USSR, because it is so blatantly false and easy to dispute that it just shows the pure laziness of those folks that are repeating it. The first text that I ever read by Lenin was on the national question. Published in 1914, Lenin stated that it was the job of the oppressor nation, in this time Tsarist Russia, to earn the trust of the workers in the oppressed nation. Ukraine as an example. Stalin, a national minority himself, also wrote Marxism and the National Question, in which he lays out what is a nation, how the rich orchestrate nationalism, and what solutions Marxists have to answer the national question in a way that is truly liberatory, which he found was regional autonomy. As a result, the USSR created the Soviet on Nationalities, a literal body of government for representation for ethnic groups to set Soviet policies. Likewise, Ukrainian Bolshevik Mykola Skripnik forged and implemented Ukrainianization or indigenization policies that promoted ethnic Ukrainians and non-Russians to positions of power, set up Ukrainian language schools, and emphasized cultural celebrations in a way to incorporate each national group into the revolutionary socialist project. But nationalists also took advantage of these institutions to hijack the Soviet project. For example, the Union for the Liberation of Ukraine, which later merged into the OUN, met as a secret society that pretended to be communists to obtain positions of power in these institutions and work to spread Ukrainian nationalist propaganda. Similarly, the Ukrainian autocephalous Orthodox Church was later hijacked by nationalists when it was created by the Soviets. These nationalist movements in Ukraine were created by the economic elite like the intelligentsia and the kulak class and the bourgeoisie to overthrow the Ukrainian worker state. What this proved to the Bolsheviks is to resist the nationalist bourgeoisie in Ukraine, they needed to construct a revolutionary inclusive identity that could not be hijacked by nationalists, thus socialist patriotism for the Soviet identity. This is not an attack on any national or ethnic group, nor were any languages banned. Before a union of 16 countries, they did need a uniform language so that they can all communicate with another, and Russian was the obvious choice for historical reasons, as so many people already spoke Russian. It was only institutions that were ridden with National Socialists that were cracked down upon. And not to target the Ukrainian identity or language, but an ideological class war against the nationalist bourgeoisie. Nationalists purposefully conflate what is class war against the bourgeoisie and kulaks into an ethnic genocide. But the Soviets were far more supportive of national minorities than nationalists could ever even pretend to be. Follow Midwestern Marx for the latest news, history content, and Marxist theory. As always, fuck NATO.